If the final episode is a laser fight situation, I'm going to rip my own face off on camera next week. 1 week from today, I will peel the skin from my face.
Don't
you saw
say
it here
things
first.
like this. Don't.
You heard it.
Don't
here
write
first.
checks your
Ladies
face
and gentlemen.
can't cash.
You know
Nina
what? I'm
has
not that attached to it. I don't really
promised.
care.
Moon Knight episode 5 is here, and it's the mooniest one yet. What's going on? What will happen next? Will Nina's face survive the final episode? Watch this spoiler-filled video to find out. We watched the latest episode of Moon Knight episode 5. I believe it's called Asylum.
It is.
And speaking for myself, this was easily my favorite episode of the series so far.
Same.
Like, no question.
Same.
It was great. Like it's the origin story that we were denied. It's great that, you know, in the structure of these superhero things, these MCU things, we always get the origin story kind of, you know, for the most part, we see it at the beginning and then by the end they're a hero or whatever. You know, there's a few exceptions to that structure, but overall there is that kind of arc. Whereas here we see, you know, we've done it very much in reverse and seen the secret origin of Moon Knight, Mark Spector, and Stephen Grant kind of towards the end. And the reveals were great. It was really well acted, really well written. For me, I'm absolutely loving this. What do you guys think? Nina, what are your thoughts on this?
I loved it. It's also my favorite episode. I'm wearing my Oscar Isaac t-shirt for the occasion because I hope he wins every Emmy in the whole world for this episode. It's definitely his reel. For an episode where we saw, like, I don't know, 10 seconds of Moon Knight, it's my favorite episode of Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Just great backstory, great performances. The pacing was really good. I don't know. It was a great episode of television. I don't even know what else to... I'd still like... And it was also, like, really dark, really sad. Really bummed me out, but in a...
Yeah, but in the best way.
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like watching things that hurt my feelings. I watch Euphoria. I watched Game of Thrones. All of the TV shows I loved have hurt me in some way. So this just falls in with the rest of them. But I thought it was excellent. I don't know. I'm rambling. Someone else talk.
Maybe Tom can give us his opinion. What did you think of this one?
Well, Brian, it's been a long 14 years, but I, for one, was glad that I stuck it out long enough to see Marvel finally bend a knee to the rampant ravings of its fan base and finally drown a child. It was nice to be around.
There it is.
I was there in May of 2008 when everybody leaving the theater after the first Iron Man movie said, not bad, but they didn't drown a child.
Not enough child drowning.
Not enough.
Finally, a landmark for the MCU. A kid drowns.
Little blubs. Yep.
Little blobs.
Whew.
But we got there, man.
Louise.
Felt
Oh
good.
my gosh.
I had a nice time. It was an excellent episode. I had a wonderful time watching it. I thought that all of the visual stuff that they did with the psych ward was really neat. And my only complaint, if I have one at all, is that listening to F. Murray Abraham say, "You will be my Moon Knight." That came right out of nowhere, right? I don't know, man. Like I know we got to give the character a name, but
I thought that was fine. I think,
I didn't mind it.
I think if you're dying and you're communing with the moon god Khonshu in his temple, and he resurrects you and gives you the power of his knight, I think you will be my Moon Knight protecting the travelers. I think it's fine. That didn't bother me.
No.
It worked fine.
Yeah.
You know,
it was kind of the best
guitar hero.
Yeah. If you make a Guitar Hero movie, someone has to say it at
legally,
one time. Sure. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Yeah.
One of the things I really liked about this episode too was that in the previous one, when we got to the psych ward level, you know, using video game parlance, it seemed very clearly like, you know, this isn't real. He's not really here. This is all construction. Like, there's no way. But then we got an extra sub level of the psych ward where he's like, no. Like, I'm your doctor. You're inventing things. You're there with your alternate reality. You've met a talking hippo. Of course, that's not real. This is real. And I was like, good job. Like I was really into how they subverted your expectations to still give you a little bit of doubt as to what's really happening here. And I also really, really appreciated the way they explored the Mark Steven dynamic and the way that the two of them,
like how Steven came into existence. Yeah, like that scene where he does it for the first time as a kid when his mom is like beating the door down of his room. Like that was hard to watch. But no, I mean, I felt like in a show that has two totally different, has Oscar Isaac playing two distinct personalities, this was the smartest, most efficient, and most satisfying way to explain why that is the case. And then to have, Steven, die? I don't know. I don't know what the rules are in that limbo with the boat.
That's my big concern moving forward. Just like since we're coming up on the conclusion of the story, I think it's going to be a fascinating line to watch them walk. 'Cause, like, obviously, he's probably going to bring Steven back, right?
That would be my guess.
Yeah,
which I'm assuming will involve him leaving actual heaven, right? So the message of this story does seem to be steering straight into it's better to keep your mental illness than it is to be in heaven, and I'm not sure how we're gonna rectify that.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I think that there's a lot to unpack here in terms of like the afterlife and what I don't know.
Boring way to. I don't
Come on,
know,
Egypt,
man.
you can
Like,
do better than that.
In terms of
Reeds,
afterlives, right? Yeah. It doesn't seem like a real heaven if it would be made infinitely better by like one Super Nintendo. Like, it's like just like anything to keep your attention.
What if it's not plugged in? It's just a Super Nintendo.
That's hell.
That's the bad place.
One thing I thought we would have gotten, but I was surprised we didn't, was this third personality that we're all kind of fairly certain is going to come through at some point, right? Like we all remember from, I think it was episode 3, when Mark and Steven are both kind of like pushing and pulling each other and they're running through Egypt, the streets of Egypt, an entire country. Are they in Cairo? I don't know where they're supposed to be.
I'm going to say yes.
Let's say yes. They're running through the streets and one guy gets beat up, I think even killed. And Mark's like, Steven, what did you do? And Steven goes, that wasn't me. And we never kind of got any resolution on that. Then in the psych ward in the last episode,
there's a third
gets
sarcophagus.
Steven out of the sarcophagus, and then there's another one that they don't open. So I thought that's where we were going to go here. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to think about. I mean, we'll see if Steven comes back. It is clearly a manifestation of Mark's grief and his trauma. And, once Steven was gone, the scale balanced. So, Tom, to your point, is Steven going to come back? Maybe not. Maybe they'll do kind of I don't know.
I feel like maybe he can't, because I feel like the whole point of confronting his childhood trauma was to realize that he created Steven as a disassociative figure to distract him from, abuse and trauma and all of that stuff. So I feel like, I don't know how he could, but also, I don't know. But
also, it's a superhero TV show, and we don't want Steven to go because we like Steven. He's our protagonist.
If the final episode is a laser fight situation, I'm going to rip my own face off on camera next week. 1 week from today, I will peel the skin from my face.
Don't say things like this.
You heard it.
Don't write checks your face can't cash.
You know what? I'm not that attached to it. I don't really care.
The last time you said something like this, we had a friendly bet about some dumb factoid, and you said, if you're right, I will roast my dog and eat it.
I haven't done that.
I was right, and your dog remains
so far.
I reneged on that deal, sorry.
Meanwhile, the last time I said something like this, it was that if Marvel doesn't drown a kid in their next miniseries, I am going to peel Nina's face off and then make her eat her dog.
So we're all in agreement. Yeah. That's going to happen.
We're all in agreement that somehow, for some reason, Nina's face will be peeled off in short order. One thing I can say about this series that I'm enjoying this series in a lot of ways, but the most ways that I'm enjoying it is because it's deviating a lot from, you know, your
Right.
typical MCU stuff. Now, we've talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier together.
Vague and or specific threats about what I will or will not do next week aside, I really don't want them to go down an MCU standard path next week. That's all I meant to say. I really don't want that.
I think there's a decent chance that they will anyway.
I know.
I'm going to say,
even though Nina said not to?
Even though she said not to, I think
you know
there's
what?
a good
Kevin
chance
Feige keeps screening my calls, and it's really
we're going to get a big purple laser coming out of the pyramid. We're going to get Moon Knight in his Moon Knight suit fighting Ethan Hawke in his Amit Knight suit. He's going to have the anti-Moon Knight suit on, and they're going to have a big punch-up. And then at the end, the day will be saved. But I don't know. But what I was going to say is that what I love about this is it's subverting so much of what overall, the whole series is subverting my expectations about what this could have been and what this would have been. And I love it. I really love the tomb raiding, mummy movie style stuff, Indiana Jones style stuff, whatever you want to call it. I love the Memento style blackout action scenes from the first episode. I think the weakest part for me was the, you know, I'm fighting an invisible jackal monster. As a mummy Batman. Like that for me, I could do without because I like everything else around it. But it's still good. As a whole, I'm digging it. I like it a bunch. Predictions for the end. So I gave my predictions. Anyone else have thoughts about what? So Nina, if you don't want that typical MCU ending, how do you think it should end?
I don't know. This is why nobody hires me to write Moon Knight. Surprisingly. No, I genuinely, I was so blown off course by this episode because I didn't see it coming at all that I genuinely don't know what to expect. Or even, I don't want it to just turn into, so this and WandaVision are my favorite MCU shows, and they have a lot of shared DNA. They're, you know, they hinge on a very, very good central performance. They're, you know, superhero shows about unpacking grief and trauma and working through your issues somehow through mystical ways or whatever. But, you know, the thing I really didn't like about the ending of WandaVision is that it just turned into pew-pew colored lasers for like big 20 whole minutes.
Witchy laser fight with wires.
Yeah, when it could have been a lot cooler than that. So yeah, I realize that I'm, you know, not giving any specifics here, and that's on me, but I just, I want them to really surprise me, and it would be really kind of a lame letdown if it was just pew-pew laser fight in the sky.
Okay. Tom, what about you? What are your thoughts for the last episode? What do you think we'll see? What do you hope to see?
Well, if it's me, and I'm not saying it is, but if it's me, the whole point of Steven was that he's there to solve conflict not in a nonviolent way, right? Like that's his whole deal. He avoids violence and trauma and stuff. So that would be a great way to bring it back, right? If he comes back when there should be a giant laser fight and forces everybody to talk everything out, like not just Ethan Hawke, but like all of the animal head gods pop up. They all do that. Otherwise, I would say Dance Party. We haven't had one of those in a while.
The Guardians of the Galaxy ending.
Drown another kid.
They could all eat some shawarma.
Drown another kid. There it is. I was waiting for that. Here, my last thought. What if the ultimate twist is that he wakes up back in that psych ward and he's actually like, gets released because he's like starting to work through his trauma, and Harrow is his actual doctor, and none of the stuff that we've seen actually happened.
Or just Ronald Reagan shuts down the state. Yeah, no, that works. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's go for that.
Yeah. Okay, that works.
Okay, great. Thanks for watching Everything Marvel. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more videos about your favorite Marvel stuff is coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.